Let's talk about the Middle East now, where the Biden administration is deploying 3,000 troops back to Afghanistan to help get personnel out of the U.S. Embassy in Kabul as the Taliban advances toward the Afghan capital. Joining us now for more on this is Pennsylvania Congressman and Iraq War veteran Guy Reschenthaler. Congressman, pleasure to have you back on the show. This is happening faster than any estimates that the government put out. The Taliban has now taken control of Kandahar. That's the second largest city in Afghanistan. Kabul's got 5 million people. This is happening so quickly. They could have control of Kabul, which would be crushing for the rest of the country within a month by some estimates.
Yes, Rob, it's absolutely alarming how quickly this is happening. And it's happening this quickly because Joe Biden basically capitulated. He surrendered to the Taliban. You know, we should never have had an unconditional retreat from Afghanistan. We also should never have given up the Bagram Air Force Base or the air base. That's our ability to provide our Afghan allies with air support to help fight back against the Taliban. That is our base to do intel operations and to provide intel to our allies there. And without that base and without a small unit of U.S. troops or a small number of U.S. troops there, it's very hard for our allies to fight back against the Taliban. And this puts us right back where we were in the 90s and early 2000s, right, when the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and now, unfortunately, ISIS will use Afghanistan to train, to harbor terrorists, and to increase their hold on the region. And additionally, Rob, I do need to say this. Strategically, this is a blunder. Our ability to project power abroad is in large part due to our ability to have bases all over the globe. When we are in Afghanistan, granted with a small amount of military troops and with Bagram base, we're able to get intel, we're able to project power, we're able to help contain China, at least in Western China. And think about that neighborhood. You've got China, Russia, Iran. It is of strategic importance to be there. Last time I checked, we're still in Korea, we're still in Japan, we're still in Germany, we're still in Cuba for that matter.
Right.
There's no reason for us to have given up the strategic, at least air base in Bagram. Joe Biden owns this. This is reminiscent of the fall of Saigon. And let's remember what happened in Iraq when then Vice President Biden pulled out of Iraq with Obama. You had the rise of ISIS. This is not going to end well for Afghanistan. It's a sad day for the United States, certainly our troops, in particular Afghanistan and our allies there.
And the rise of the Taliban happening after Charlie Wilson's war, the 1980s and 1990s, and that ultimately led up to what we're going to be honoring 1 month from now, and that's the 20th anniversary of the September 11th attacks by the Taliban. And this is, you brought it up, what we're doing to Afghanistan is going to force Afghanistan to look a lot like it looked just before September 11th. The president is vacationing at his beautiful beach house in Wilmington, Delaware. We live in a world that's all about optics. I think he should be at the White House. We are sending 3,000 troops back to Afghanistan. There aren't that many troops that we had to get out of there over the last 2 months. It was just under 3,000. What do you make of this? And when does this 3,000 troops, when does this recent deployment, when do they come back? Or are they there now permanently?
Well, exactly. Those, first off, if we would not have left, would not have had to have gone back in. I mean, that sounds so simple, but it's true. And this is what happens when America retreats. When we sit down, we create a power vacuum, and that power vacuum is often filled by nefarious actors. Case in point is Afghanistan. We pull out, we move our troops out. We quickly have to go back in because we have the Taliban taking over large swaths of the country. Had we just stayed there and supported our allies on the ground, the Taliban would not have been able to take a hold, at least not to the extent that they are now. And you made a great point that the Taliban is now coming back in control. This time, though, Rob, they're going to be in a better position to maintain control over their country. And here's why, is because they will likely do a loose partnership with the Chinese in exchange for reducing terrorist attacks in Western China. The Chinese will provide them with infrastructure in terms of technology, and they'll be able to use the data they collect to crack down upon those that are seeking freedom in Afghanistan.
And
so they'll come back in an even stronger way.
That bullseye will then point from China to us in the Western Hemisphere and the United States specifically, I'm assuming. This is
well, not only that, but I was going to say the rare earth elements that are in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
There's a treasure trove of rare earth elements. We need those to make everything from a laptop, a cell phone, to a fighter jet, to an electronic vehicle and a Tesla. And we've ceded that now to China's sphere of influence. It's a debacle.
And for the people of Kabul, too. I mean, that city is going to be overtaken any time now. It's scary stuff. Congressman, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate the information.
Thanks, Rob.